Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining me today. Can I just say a really big thank you to everyone and anyone who has subscribed or left a comment or joined me on Patreon or booked a reading lately, because you make a huge difference to my life and doing something I actually really enjoy doing, which always feels a bit sort of cunning in some way. If you have tried to get a reading and it's been booked out, I can only put a certain number up each week because I work quite a lot and it's difficult to fit it in because I'm trying to fit some in before work and after work. If you're on Patreon, I will tonight actually give you a code to get a big reduction, or when you want to book a reading. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. Today's reading is what is the reason behind this connection. So we're going to look at your energy, at their energy, what you both bring to the table, and what you should really be doing together, or what is the message behind this meeting, that type of thing. You've got bottle green, you've got Pantone 691, and you've got Deep Forest 19/6110. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. Okay, I've got a feeling. I'm not going to sing that song for you. This is what I'm thinking and feeling. You've got the third house here. You've got two people who like to be in control in some way, even if you don't realise it. You've got what I would say a passionate pull and a very sort of strong physical attraction. You've got two people here trying to sort out the way that they express themselves. There's fantasy, there's trying to back down feelings, and it almost sort of sums itself up into, I feel like I'm going to finish this in 2 minutes, into a message from above to say, structure your thought processes, structure the way that you look at yourself, structure the way that you look at the situation, know the difference between fantasy and reality, and don't use power to pull. I finished there. Not really. I'm going to go through it bit by bit and see what extra I can pull out of it, and I'm going to explain the cards just in case you may be interested in what the cards it's such an individual thing, isn't it, what they actually say to you. And when we read cards, we always seem to pull from our own personalities and our own experiences, so the same cards can mean something different to somebody else. But I'll go through what I'm thinking and just see if it means anything to you. Your person's coming across here as the Emperor and Venus. So to me, the Emperor and Venus is somebody who may be very well established in life, or may just like taking a position with authority, or trying to come across as big daddy or big mummy. Somebody who likes to shoulder other people's burdens in some way, in a positive way. And this card isn't negative. It's just not sexy control. Sexy control is strength. This is somebody who may pat you on the back when you've done something that they're proud of. Strength card will do a little bit more than that, I think, that it actually wants to happen to you. Venus is a feeling here of the person this person might actually be good looking themselves. They may be in that position where lots of people look at them or admire them, and they have that energy where people almost fall for them. I'm stumbling here because once again I'm thinking of situations, and I know the last reading I spoke about my brother who is my brother got a high position in work, and I went to work with him years ago, and was absolutely amazed that women fancied him. Everybody was like, well, not everybody, a lot of girls were falling head over heels. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's my brother. But this is what it makes me feel of: somebody who's attractive because of their position, somebody who's attractive because of their personality and the way that they come across. And with Venus here, they made us look good anyway. But I can't get out of the corner of my eye the fact that you've got Pluto over here for you. So it could be a work connection. When that Venus and Pluto could very much be that attraction where it feels as if you've had bits of your insides ripped out when the other person doesn't reciprocate your feelings. You've got also as well with 2 cards here which make me think of a conventional situation, and that could either be, in my eyes, you may think of, I'm trying to actually move my microphone here. In my eyes, it's to me, I keep thinking of work, I keep thinking of marriage, I keep thinking of Capricorn. I keep thinking a church group. It's something that has a set of rules in some way. I think that it's difficult to express passion in, which Pluto Venus, to me, that pull in synastry is normally a very passionate pull. The 3rd house in the middle here has got something to do, which I thought initially, I'm trying to stop talking because I'm talking fast, has got something to do with your thought processes. Both of your thought processes. And with Pluto Venus there, it's like, I was going to say like a habit. It may very much be a habit. I was going to say like a rabbit in the headlights, but it's not that. It's basically 2 rabbits that have their ears tied together and being mowed over by a car. You know, when you're sort of just getting pulled along with it and it's painful and you can't stop. That's a really bad analogy. Then you've got the Hierophant here for you, which goes so well with the Emperor. Both of you are trying to maintain your status, trying to maintain your dignity, trying to maintain how you come across to each other. It's almost like holding back, but this has got a real passion below it. The Pluto and the Venus is a pull, and it's playing with your mind processes. This is what I'm thinking here. What you both bring to the table is this pile here, and what you should really be doing is here. And in my mind, I'm thinking of this pile, and this pile is like a synastry contact, how you both interact with each other. And this pile is like a draconic synastry impact. I was going to say something else then, which is how you should really be functioning. It's like functioning from your higher selves. Because Pluto and Venus is one of the hardest ones to actually function from your higher self, because it does, honestly, it's almost like blind love. It's like taking a dummy, pacifier, whatever. I'm translating this now. I'm multilingual. Away from a baby, if you pull Venus and Pluto apart. Okay, so what you're bringing to the table, I think, are 2 stable personalities who function very well in the outside world. I don't know what your positions are in life. I don't know whether there is a work connection, but it's 2 people who everybody else would say, there's a sense of admiration. There's a sense of admiration for the way that you conduct yourself. To me, they're passionate natures as well. You've got the 4 of Wands and you've got the Chariot card here. But this Pluto and this Venus with the 7 of Cups may possibly be in a group situation where there's a lot of tension, a lot of magnetism that is not expressed due to people around you. The Strength card here may be very much be you both enjoy the attraction and you both enjoy the feeling that it can't actually be shown because it adds to the tension. Because the 5 of Pentacles, I wonder whether you separate and both of you almost go into a dip of feeling like, where do I really fit in? Because things are left unsaid. It's control, it's passion, and it's got something to do with learning how to communicate. And communicate in a more outward, a more verbal way rather than just with magnetic pulls and eyes and that type of thing. It's almost like, it is like putting your cards on the table in some way, because there's a lot of fantasy, there's a lot of attraction, there's a lot of people around. This is quite a sexual pile to me. You've got your Chariot, you've got Pluto, you've got Venus, you've got 2 very controlled people here, and you have got Strength trying to almost control what I would say is a real pull to each other. Yeah, okay. Right. What I think that you possibly should be doing, the reason behind this connection is for both of you to understand I was going to say your mental processes because I've said that before, but to be honest, it's your shadow sides, which sounds like a cliche, but the King of Swords, the Page of Swords here, and the Seven of Cups, and you have got the Seven of Cups over here, is two people that run away with what could be, but don't actually, or let me say you don't actually, but may actually just leave the unsaid. It feels like there could be complications there that because you enjoy the pull, you're not ready to own up to yourself, and they're not ready to own up to themselves either. Because it could, if the truth was said, put an end to the situation if you both actually said, this is what we've got, this is the attraction, this is why I'm attracted to you, and if there's something in between that's difficult, it would almost be like, we can't go there, perhaps that type of feeling where things are hidden for a reason, things are hidden for you both to be dealing with a pull. And there's got something to do with almost falling back and enjoying the pull, because it's like rich fantasies here. It has a feeling of a Neptune contact as well, like a Venus-Neptune contact with a Venus-Pluto contact, where the passion is there, but there's almost like a creative process in the way that you organise your thoughts with regards to this person. To me, it could be the way through this is to actually start a journal. If you're interested in astrology, start looking at the process of when you meet, what aspects of what's going on in the sky at that time, and how, what can you learn. It's got something to do with the communication and your mind processes and what you can actually learn from this. Another thought here as well is how do you cope with passion? How do you cope with that pull? When you're really attracted to somebody, do you lose something by being attracted to them, or do you gain something by expressing your thoughts, expressing your feelings, even if they're not reciprocated? How strong are you to do that? Do you have the strength to do it? Because you've got the Strength card down here, you've got the Chariot card, which is is a strong will, and you've got the third house there, which is basically being honest with yourself. And this takes incredible strength to do this. This is your every hurt from being a child, every time your mum or your dad did something revolting to you and you've blamed them ever since. When you put all that faith into a relationship and all those hurts into a relationship, and that person who you have your eye on turns around and says, don't fancy you, it can really grate. And that's being polite. So this is almost like a stripping bare type of feeling to this connection. It's like, how vulnerable can you make yourself without, it's like the phoenix. How much can you lay bare without feeling like you're dying? And it feels like this one is almost within actually doing that, within actually saying, like, whatever you think of me, how attracted I am to you, nothing, you can't really take anything from me. This is not a negative pile at all. I think the question sort of causes a bit of what I would say digging deep. Because there's so much to do with endings here. If this person, if you can think in your head now, if you're really interested in somebody and they said something horrendous to you, you've got the World card here and it just wrapped itself up. And if you're feeling that's quite painful at the moment, that's part of it. That's part of it, because the Seven of Cups here is basing something on fantasy and pain and lying low. And they've got a lot of sword cards here. It's thinking and understanding the situation in its rawness, I suppose. And within that comes the growth. And as I always say, when we're kids, our parents are everything. When we're teenagers, our friends are everything. And then as you get older, it's your relationships that are everything. And that's where the biggest lessons are. And they're really painful. We all know what it's like to be drawn to somebody and we don't fit in their lives in some way. And it makes you feel, you basically put on your back heel to say, who am I anyway? This isn't a bad connection. I wouldn't say this is like a reading where I say there's nothing between you. It's the complete opposite. There is a lot between the pair of you, and it's got a lot to do with your sense of self-worth and your strength of character. If this was an astrology chart, it would be somebody who was prepared. Just say you could make a chart before you came down to earth. You would say, with regards to this relationship, put those squares in my chart, make it painful because I want to grow quickly. I want to learn. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. I want to know that, I remember it was Prince, I think. I read something. I think it was when he died. I was reading something and he said that what he thought was really cool, not that we care what anybody else thinks is cool, but was the fact somebody who didn't waver when somebody came into the room, even somebody they found attractive, or I'm thinking boss, or just somebody they admire, like a celebrity. And this is what this connection is. It's to build resilience, and I think inner strength. And it's a really, really positive, to me, straightforward spread. This is like your best buddy coming down to earth dressed as a vamp, that sort of, dressed as somebody you're just going to be really attracted to. And oftentimes you find these connections, sometimes as you get older, when it's uncomfortable to fall for somebody because you're in a particular situation, which can be work, it can be another relationship. It doesn't have to be age related at all, but that's just one scenario. I think, you tend to see it only because I'm interested in astrology, and I can see the bigger cycles as you get back to 39, early 40s, and they can get things bubbling. And oftentimes you can get shoved into situations which bring out, make you question yourself, put it like that, make you question yourself, your drives, how you get what you want, and what are you prepared to put up with, and those type of really hard questions, I think. To me, the whole pull is the reason, not the reason you're together, but the reason that the reason you are together, but not the reason you should be together. The reason you're together is, to me, a really strong attraction. You've got a lot of animals in here. You've got the Strength card, which is, I always think, in this type of spread, with Venus and Pluto, and two very, what I would say, characters trying to be very structured. It makes me think, I don't know if you're from the UK, but we have adverts here where you get policemen in cars eating jelly babies. Are they jelly babies? And they've got really kiddies' voices, but they're actually saying something. No, they're supposed to be looking mature, but they're going, these are really lovely flavours. It's that type of feel. It's like, put your mask on, pretend you're adults, but we're going to put something in between that, and it's going to feel really intense, and let's see how you're still coping at the end of this. That type of things. How are you going to I was going to say avert your eyes. But how are you going to convert your mind processes to make sure that they work for you rather than against you? Are you going to delve into fantasies and try and see, you want to basically sort out what's real and what's fantasy so that it functions for you? There's a phrase, isn't there? Maladaptive dreaming. And you've got the Seven of Cups twice here. So what's reality and what is fantasy? Yeah, that's it. Maladaptive dreaming. My God, I was made for that. And then you've got these cards here, which are once again a sword cards of maybe a bit of pain, a bit of retreating from the situation. And that's where the mental growth, that's where your mind processes start to function in the way that they should function. So this possibly could be a difficult connection. And it could even be, with these animal cards here, a connection where things get together and then separate. Do you know what? Somebody actually, I can't pronounce the lady's name. I can see it, but I'm scared of mispronouncing it here. Kitka rings a bell, who leaves comments, and she said a couple of times, What about people that are widowed? And and it's really interesting to see that, because this isn't a situation that I'm familiar with, so it doesn't automatically come up in what I would say interpreting the cards. But this could very much be that type of situation where there's been a really sort of strong bond, and it's just felt as if, you know, your life was engrossed in that bond, and you moved around together and it felt stable, and then your mind processes need to keep working to how you're going to move away from this bond and what is reality now. You know, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And you've got the World card here. It's like wrapping up a situation that you were very much engrossed in, and it was such a huge part of your life, to how you can move on if need be. It doesn't have to be a widow. You know, the need be doesn't have to be your relationships. I'm not actually saying in any of this that you're supposed to be together or you're not supposed to be together. It's just, to me, it's speaking to me of mental processes and how you actually function in a way that functions for you. That's what it speaks to me of. It feels like that you both may need breathers from this relationship at times to sort of regain your equilibrium, get your feet back on the ground, and then come back in. It feels like intensity that needs breaks. But I wonder as well, it could be one of those relationships where you see each other in certain periods of your life, and then with the Seven of Cups coming up twice, I wonder whether you can all, you know, when you're not with somebody and they in your mind they're actually fantastic, and then you meet them again and thought, yeah, they're all right. That type of thing. There's that type of feeling as well, where the attraction may almost build when you're apart. And the different scenarios here. Okay, pile number 1. What's the reason behind this connection? The reason behind this connection is to feel desire, and it's to organise how you deal with that. It's to organise who you are, how you express yourself, to make your mind processes work for you in a very positive way. You know, that can, you know, your personality better. It's like an attraction, and sometimes people, when they're attracted to, you know, other people, almost self-sabotage the relationship. I'll pretend I don't like them just in case they don't like me first. That, you know, that type of feeling of self-defense, I suppose. So there's multiple reasonings behind what possibly could be going on, not reasonings or possibilities. But to me, to sum it up, is a passionate relationship where the attraction is two very similar personalities that feel a really strong pull, and then periodically feel like they may be shut out, which is that Pluto, Venus, the Five of Pentacles here. And the reason behind all this is for you to organise in your head who you are, regardless of the other person's actions. Okay, right, pile number 1. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that helps in some way. It's interesting to me, just to me maybe, but it is interesting because I think, you know, it's parts of us all in this sort of reading. You know, we all try and we use our egos to try and guard ourselves from being hurt, and this Pluto Venus is all about that. And then it comes up with all these sword cards here, where it's saying, look at it in a very sort of mature perspective. Oh, heavens, don't you hate that? See it for what it is and deal with it straight. You know, it's like a really tough lesson. Deal with it for exactly what it is and enjoy it. Okay, right, pile number 1. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that helps in some way. And thank you for joining me. Bye. Hi, pile 2. Okay, pile number 2. I'm wondering whether your person, to me this feels like a sweetheart pile, you know, two people that connect in a very sweet way, two people that, this is not like a battle of egos, possibly like the first one could possibly be like trying not to get pulled down into the mud with regards to having your ego stripped. This is more a case of two people that are very sweet, two people that are very open, two people that feel very lovey-dovey about each other. And there's that aura of possibly, it's like a Venus-Neptune feeling of getting lost in each other. But it has also as well, it's like a Pisces-Virgo feel. People that give to others, very sweet-natured, I'm going to say, you don't need a lot of eyes upon you. And I wonder whether that's what's pulled you together. It is like a sweetheart feeling here. And what I get the impression is what you both bring to the table at the moment. Let me just swap these around for myself. Pentacles, Five of Swords. I'm wondering whether you're together. You've got the World card here, which to me can speak of arguments, that the situation may have ended. There may be distance between the pair of you. It feels a bit like beginnings and endings. Yeah, we're together. No, we're not together. Just distance of two people who maybe Pisces and Virgo. There may be that feeling. Doesn't have to be Pisces or Virgo, but being opposites with regards to astrology. Like a Taurus Scorpio type of feeling where you push and pull each other quite a way. There possibly could as well be a work connection here where you are almost put into a position where you have to share each other's space, and how you deal with that. The Five of Swords could be that you may, to me it feels like mice that run backwards and forwards and connect and then run away and then run backwards and forwards and connect, and then you run off, and this is probably your day-to-day situation, and then you wonder what the other one's feeling and you wonder what you're feeling, and it's, you know, going over thought processes in your mind with regards to your last contact. And I wonder whether sometimes these contacts split up for longer periods of time. Your person's coming across as somebody who is quite sweet, quite emotional, but has what I would say a lot of get up and go about them. The connection between you is a fifth house, so that's what makes me think this lovey-dovey air. You've got the Seven of Wands and Neptune, which gave me that Pisces Virgo feeling of somebody who is very sweet and very creative, very kind-hearted, but gives too much sometimes. Because this little otter is building. I've said this before, do otters build dams? And I am sure I even Googled it because I'm expecting to see a beaver, and that's no beaver. So this is what I'm getting, a thought of somebody or a couple that get together, very similar natured in many ways, because there seems to be a feeling of openness and sweetness and recognizing that in each other. And there's that lovey-dovey feeling, but a situation that feels jumbled. These cards are hard to read. All the cards feel jumbled. It's like, are we together? Are we not together? When we saw each other, did she look at me? Did he look at me? Then you maybe push together for a job situation, and there's still that wondering going on. And you could be similar natured, but not. And I suppose what I'm thinking there is when you get together for small amounts of time, which is what I'm thinking of this mice feeling, then you feel very similar, but there may be differences that are, it depends how well you know each other. If you don't know each other that well, there may be differences that the more time you spend together could feel as if, I didn't know that about you. That feels different than what I expected. Because there's similarity at the top here, and then down here you've got the King of Swords and the King of Cups. One's quite harsh, one's quite formal, the other one's quite open and quite warm and quite mature with the way that they love. And there's the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles here. What you both bring to the table possibly could be new beginnings that feel as if you're both exchanging something, both giving each other something, and then it wraps up again. So to me, this is a really sort of henpecking pile. Two sweet people together, what happened, together, what happened, together, what happened. And the reason behind this connection is you've got the Six of Pentacles twice. It's a bit similar to pile number one, but without the intensity. The Magician card here is you've got everything that you need not to question yourself in this relationship. You both have got something about you that feels as if you may question it because you're not getting enough information from each other. The Magician card is to realise, I suppose I can only speak to you because I can't speak to them, is to realise with the Hierophant that if you find out at a later date, or if you know already that you may not be the exact person for this particular person that you have in mind, that you almost spill outside the box rather than are contained into it. Because the Hierophant there is I always say, is a really traditional contracted feel about it. With the Magician card is somebody who can give an alternative way to live, can give an alternative way how to do anything, and you can't be contained. You can still give. You've got the Six of Pentacles twice. You can still exchange energy with each other without having to be what the other person wants. This is a case of be yourself, because you're more than they expect. You're more than you actually expect. And the Seven of Swords here very much goes with the Magician of finding I would say accepting your differences. I get a feeling of two very sweet people, and it feels as if there's like Neptune there's like fifth house, you relate really well, your contact is limited, you pull apart, your contact's limited, and you wondered possibly this may be your message in this. If I did something different, if I was slightly this, would I be better off? Would they be more attracted to me? Would I get more contact from them? And this is saying your road to possibly attracting them, I'm not actually thinking that, I'm thinking your road to being yourself is to be yourself in every way possible. It's a really strong feeling. The Seven of Swords and the Magician is take your own road. Take your own road. I was laughing with my sister last night about getting sacked from a job because they tried to make me paint a ceiling, and said paint your own ceiling. It's that type of feeling of having a little bit of your own little rebellious corner there, of thinking, I'm attracted to you, I don't know what I'm getting from you, this is me. And in doing so, you're going to, that may be your ticket to actually being the most attractive you have ever been. And I mean to yourself mainly, to be honest. Because you've got the Three of Wands with the heart expanding here. You've got the Queen of Pentacles. And it's almost like an end to thinking and a beginning to expanding yourself. So to me, this is beginning to feel like what's the reason behind this connection is to bring out, and I'm assuming it's you because the last reading was a bit of both, but this feels like it's just aimed at the person watching. It's for you to bring out your inner beauty without any regard to what you're going to get back, without any regard to whether this person likes you. There's you shouldn't question this at all. It's not your job in this situation to question this. It's your job to be yourself. It has what I would say a rebellious air about it, this one. Paint your own ceiling. That's a lie. I didn't get sacked. That is a big lie. I walked out. I was asked to do loads of dog's body things, and in the end I was getting paid like £20 a week. So I said, paint your own ceiling. This is what it feels like. It feels like giving bits, and it's not like a snap one, because your energy isn't snap. Your energy is quite smooth and sweet, but this is a case of don't try and be something for anybody else whatsoever, because there's something inside you that's very different, and it makes me feel that somewhere down the track you're going to be in a position where you're glad that you are who you are. It's a strange feeling. It's difficult to explain. It's like this person has a certain type and you're really attracted to this person. You possibly know a lot about past boyfriends or past girlfriends, and you think, well, if I could be like that, then maybe I'd get more attention, or maybe they'd like me more because I keep bumping into them and I'd like to be attracted to them. And it's almost like saying you don't really know what this person's attracted to. You could be, with this like rebellious feel, you could be like a Uranus transit on their moon at this particular moment in their life. And so you need to be playing your part to the T, rather than playing somebody else's part, which is already filled. You know, you don't know what impact you're meant to be having on this person's life. And this feels quite strong to me here with that feeling of be yourself, because exactly who you are at that moment is going to be this person's lesson. It's not a nasty sort of like, yeah, I'm going to give you a lesson. It's more like express yourself, because by expressing ourselves, we actually show alternative versions that other people can, begin to accept if that's what they need in their life at that time. I just get this feeling with this one that you're both very sweet, both very kind, both fall in love quite easily. The connection doesn't give me the feeling of being intensely deep. You're not like the last pile. This connection is there, and what I would guess is wondering. There's wondering where you fit in, and to me, it's giving me a feeling of, don't try and fit in. This is a feeling of the way you come across now, the way that your true personality functions is this person's lesson. And as I just said, just say if you do have a rebellious edge, you are possibly a Uranus transit in this person's life that they need to experience. So don't change it. It could be any planet. It could be Neptune. You could be teaching them how to give more freely and how to be more free-flowing, less controlling. But to me, they're coming across as the Ace of Wands, the new moon as well, which is a new beginning. So you could very much be the wake-up call that you possibly are the wake-up call that this person needs. Oftentimes we talk about the other way around, but I wonder in this scenario, the reason behind this connection is that you are meant to teach this person something. Not actually sit them down and try and teach them. You just got to be yourself. And in every day, showing up as yourself, your best parts, exactly how you should be, is what makes you actually, how can I say, have a glow up? But that's what my daughter's been saying all day. They had a competition in school, and one of the awards it's for the end of term awards was who's had the biggest glow up. But the teachers made them take it out because they thought they were saying, well, you must have been, what you're trying to say they were like before. So, but it is. You will become more of yourself, and that more of yourself is what this person needs. Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to stop there. I hope that helps in some way. Thank you very much for spending time with me. I'll see you again. Bye. Pile number 3. Let's see what's the reason behind this connection. Really sorry about that. The SD card just cut out. I'm hoping you missed the set down the muddy blowhole together. This has got a feeling of two people that are drawn to each other, but it feels more like cold, fresh rain. It's like love at first sight. It feels like your person gets carried away with himself or herself very easily and is very expressive in what they want, and the type of person who is very is that another card under there? No, very likely to get carried away. get carried away and almost be like a horse bolting from a field with regards to what they've got their mind set on. You're coming across as, I've seen this situation before, I'm trying to be wise about it, and it feels as if that Chiron there next to the Magician is somebody who understands what's going on. Somebody who has seen the situation and knows that it's never that easy to get close to. I know that's the wrong thing to say. It's not a bad thing to say. With Chiron, it's always, to me, a situation where you're stuck together, the pull is there, but it's almost that parallel lines that almost are so close together, but there's something there that's rubbing and difficult to get any closer. You've got over here, for the reason that you're possibly pulled to each other now, what you both bring to the table is Temperance and the Magician. So I wonder whether that's with the Fool card there, it's an air of ease but excitement at the same time. This is very much like a love at first sight. This is that very excited feeling when you fall in love when you're young. And it's, to me, I haven't looked much at this side yet. I wonder whether the lesson in this, or the reason behind the connection, is to deal with that feeling of attraction. And it wouldn't surprise me whether the person that you're drawn to could look like your first love or somebody you've been drawn to before. And there's that air of trying to replicate that situation and that love relationship again. It's got that type of feeling. It's got something to do with youth and freshness and a pull. But the difficult bit, I'm thinking, is the Chiron bit behind this, that what you're both experiencing now possibly is what should seem like very fresh, should seem like very exciting, is actually carrying pain with it. You've got the Five of Wands, the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So that to me is nights awake, fretting, other people involved possibly, and it making it uncomfortable with what you both perceive as a relationship that should be really easy. You know, it's like both of you saying, well, what's wrong with it? We're attracted to each other. And the Eros there is a very sort of childlike attraction. It is falling in love. So the reason behind this connection is, okay, you've got the Fool card here, which they're coming across as the Fool card up there. And this is what's making me think of spontaneity, enthusiasm, getting carried away with the moment, love at first sight. And the King of Cups next to it, it's actually slapped between the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups. These two people just fall in love. Full stop. They just fall in love. But underneath it, you've got the King of Cups. Actually got the King of Cups twice, and this time he's got his hand behind his heart. And then you've got two cards, the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Cups here, which very much speak of, to me, with all these cards here, they speak of, I was going to say loss, but I don't want to say loss. It makes me think of control. The lesson here is to control. I think the lesson here is control with regards to not so much each other, because the last two are like, how do you express your feelings in a way if there's something that's what's the word when something's stopping you? I don't know. If there's something stopping you or something's preventing you to getting what you want, how do you still show up as a real live human being without being revolting? This one here is, to me, is giving me a feeling of there being an attraction that feels like love at first sight. But to me, it's the people around you, the people involved in this attraction possibly, and how do you react with those? Maybe, I don't know. The Chiron to me is often other people involved. It doesn't have to be people in that immediate situation. It can almost be people, I'm thinking here. I know what I'm thinking, it's just expressing it in different ways for different people. The Chiron next to the Magician makes me think that you can play and manipulate anything in your mind to make it work from you. The Magician is the Magician after all, and Chiron is hurt, and it's hurt that you carry around with you that can come from centuries ago. It can come from this 12th house feeling sometimes that we get. I was talking about the 12th house with my sister, and I sometimes talk about astrology bits and don't feel it. And with the 12th house, we were sat there thinking, well, it's supposed to be sins of your father, that sort of, and it didn't mean anything to me. And then she said, well, I can't remember if it was Pluto or Mars is in her 12th house. And she said, well, that's how Mum repressed her anger, and how I, in my lifetime, as she is now, needs to learn how to express hers. And it hit me like, I don't know, like a wet flannel on the head. I thought, yeah, that's it. That's what the sins of your father are. This is what it feels like. It almost feels like you're being called to approach this situation with a sense of, I can't put it into words. I'm getting a feeling of like a fresh herb, something that is clean, like mint, or something that cleans out situations and makes them less muddy. And you're doing that for the good of everybody else around. So I don't really know what I'm feeling here. It feels to me like children involved and doing the correct thing for children involved. It's almost a case of, if it's third party, to almost think of the other person rather than just you two. And how would you conduct yourself with a sense of dignity in that arena? It doesn't have to be third party. I can think of some different scenarios, probably not. I'm going to switch the camera off. I need to think of this, because it feels as if I should be saying something, and I'm not going to mumble before I get there. This to me feels very much like, what's the reason you're in this connection is for control, and it's control with a sense of purity here. It's a falling in love, feeling fantastic, maybe other people involved, or the situation is a little bit misty. And you're supposed to come together in this lifetime to show your best selves, to be your most mature selves, your most loving selves, regardless of any circumstance that may come between you. Even if you're separate, or whether one's actually can't give a lot at that particular moment in time. I keep thinking divorce here, I don't know why, and kids involved, or just somebody who is sometimes can show their feelings and sometimes can't. And how do you both handle that? How do you both handle that sort of intensity of feelings that isn't like a Pluto feeling of, I'm going to try and get what I can out of you, I'm going to feel empty. It's a case of Dirty Dancing. I'm scared of never feeling like this again. I'm scared of never feeling like you two possibly feel together. And it just, the fall is Uranus. It's excitement, it's movement, it's a new start. And I'm not saying there's anything negative in this power whatsoever. It's just how you're going to deal with it. And the reason you're brought together is how to deal with it in the best way possible. Because you've got here, with what you're bringing to the table, the Five of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Eight of Swords, that's anxiety, that's upset, and that's possibly conflict in some way. Maybe a contentious situation with lots of people involved. You're always trying to find a steady, even ground with the Temperance card there. The Magician card here is almost pulling on your best qualities to be able to do that and communicate it with the Ace of Swords clearly here. And your person's coming across as, like, wow, it's just sort of energy that could hit you in the face. Very exuberant, very open, very all-inclusive. Eros there is an attraction that feels fresh. You've got what I would say the wise quality of understanding what's really going on, and almost having to be the adult with regards to this attraction and say, this is the way it could go. This is what's happening. And the Fool card here at the end for why you have been brought together in this connection is to deal with an exciting situation with maturity, even if you're not together all the time. It's almost the case, because your King of Cups here, which is very And I'm assuming this is your person, somebody who is very expressive with regards to their feelings, and at times having to almost put those feelings behind himself, behind herself, for other people, for a situation that may be difficult. Oh, I don't know, because that Chiron there has a really strong feeling of those lines that just can't get together at times, even though the attraction's there. You've got what I would say, Queen of Wands and the King of Cups, they do actually function with a stable, progressive feeling of bringing the best out of themselves and every situation that they touch, even if it's difficult, whether there is that to and fro. Okay, pile number 3. I'm going to finish there. I don't know if that makes sense to you. There's quite a few things to pull in there. But what's the reason behind this connection? I would say to make you both feel alive and to respond to each other in a way that brings the best out of yourself and the other person, even if at times it means putting some of your love, some of your feelings, some of your attraction, or lying it low for a little bit. Pulling out the situation and coming back without feeling like you're losing your sense of self or your self-worth. All right then, pile number 3. I'm going to finish that. I hope that helps. Thank you again for joining me. And good night.